So Dane, do you think Lando Calrissian was scheming on Leia as soon as he saw her on the landing platform in Cloud City?
It makes sense. You got to believe that that's what was the way it was set up. I mean, here he is. He's got his suitor, his challenger to Princess Leia in his way. Well, it was an easy way to get rid of him.
Did you see the look on his face the moment he saw her? It was like...
He's like, Princess!
Ooh. And who have we here?
He's like, I got to change the plans quick. I originally was going to save them all, but let me get Han out of the way.
Yeah, well, he already has the Empire there. He knows he's going to give Han Solo up, but he made plans with Darth Vader to keep Leia behind.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Keep her, tucked away in his personal harem.
And then when he walks in to lead him to Darth Vader, he's like, you truly belong with us among the clouds. He's probably like, Lobot, get my bedroom ready. Get my bedroom ready, right?
Throw out the Trilix.
Yeah,
right?
the Twi'leks.
The Twi'leks.
Throw the Twi'leks to the curb. I've got somebody hot right here. Yeah, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think, you know what? In fact, you might want to check the DNA of Ben Solo. Might be a Ben Calrissian. You never know. I think there was something going on.
Little Lando.
I think there was something going on between Leia and Lando behind the scenes.
Yeah,
if you know what I mean.
He was the guard, but you don't know how long he was the guard when Leia was in the metallic bikini.
Oh, in Jabba's palace, right? Yeah, he was there ahead of time. And
scope things out. Make sure everything was copacetic.
Yes. And then Leia turns up. Now he's probably hinting, let's put her in this outfit. Yeah.
Yeah, right. He was like, hey, guard tailor for the Jabba the Hutt, let's have this special outfit put together for display purposes only.
He was scheming on
Jabba was originally going to put her in like a full hoodie and an oversized sweater.
I think Princess Leia kissed Luke, kissed Han, had a secret thing with Lando.
Oh, yeah. Hey, we're on. What happened?
Oh, again?
Here we go.
This is Dane.
This is JR.
And we are
the Cult Lords.
We're beaming to you from the International Cult Space Station, high above the Earth, with technology given to us from the aliens from planet Claire. Ooh. We've got unlimited tang, artificial gravity, as you can see, and a few Blu-rays from my personal stash.
And today we are reviewing this fantastic movie, an Arnold Schwarzenegger flick called Sabotage. Stay tuned later to find out how you can win this movie.
Yeah, that's right, Dane. We are giving that away. But before we start our show, we always like to pour ourselves a drink. But this time, Dane, we have a sponsor to the show. Well, apparently last week in our review of The Green Knight, we made an impression on the Cantina Band. Figrin Dane and the Modal Nodes.
Oh, right.
Yes, they loved our show and they wanted to sponsor our drinking segment. So we are going to allow them to sponsor us and show you where they're going to be touring this winter. Right here. Maybe this year we can make Burning Wookiee.
Ooh, that'd be cool.
So, Dane, what are we drinking today?
We are drinking a perfect beverage for a nice smoky action movie. This is Montelobos Espadin cooked mezcal.
Mountain wolves, right?
Mountain wolves, yes. You can see the wolf on there right there. This slow roasted, distilled in small batches for a perfectly balanced flavor profile with a little bit of woodiness and smoke in there. Smooth enough to enjoy straight. Oh, I recommend it. But you can also mix it in cocktails.
And who will be pouring for us today?
Today we have a special guest, Grinder. Would you mind pouring us a couple of slugs?
From the movie Sabotage. This is the best Joven Mezcal I've ever tasted. Montelobos from the Oaxaca region. As far as tasting dirt goes, Mezcal is as pure an expression of terroir as a spirit can be. Enjoy the smoke as you fire off a few rounds from your beautiful Scar 17S. Muchas gracias, Grinder! Man, you can feel the testosterone when that guy's around,
I know
right?
what Sophia sees in this guy.
Sofia Vergara?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Kind of wolf-like guy, you know?
Oh, I forgot about that. He was in True Blood.
That's right.
It's got a lot of viscosity
Oh, my gosh.
on the tongue.
That
Almost
is-
like a scotch.
That is
very interesting.
Yeah, that is very different
What
from
do you
what we've
think?
had. I taste a little citrus, and then I can taste some hints of butterscotch in there, too. You know what I mean?
I can see that.
Yeah.
You got some burnt almond in there and other things of like very herbal.
Yeah, you know what? In college, I didn't think I liked tequila because I would go out with friends to the bars and they'd always pour the cheap
Right.
tequila,
Right.
the low-end Jose
Still
Cuervo's.
had a worm in it,
Yeah,
right?
and it wasn't until, remember we had a work party, a joint
Yeah, oh,
coworker
yeah,
of ours,
right.
who she was a tequila expert, going down to Mexico all the time. She had all these high-end tequilas, and that's where I learned tequila could taste pretty good. So,
Right. Well, like bourbon and whiskey, bourbons can be obviously classified as whiskeys, but a lot of whiskeys aren't classified as bourbon.
Right.
Tequila can be a mezcal, but mezcals can't be tequilas.
is it because of the region?
Yeah, exactly. Region that has to be made in.
I can understand that because as a bourbon lover, that can only come from Kentucky. So when you hear like Jack Daniels, those are Tennessee whiskeys.
Right.
I love Crown. That's a Canadian whiskey. Probably made in a bourbon style, a blended kind of whiskey, but also out of a burnt barrel. But it can only be bourbon out of Kentucky. So you're saying
Right.
mezcal is from a region?
Yeah, in this particular case, I think there's like 6 regions, but this one's from Oaxaca.
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 That's disturbing. So,
But yeah, this is fabulous for a high-pitched, much gun-smoked action flick.
well, I think this is already doing the job for me, Dave. I think I'm ready to release my mind.
It's been released.
So today we are watching an Arnold Schwarzenegger movie, Sabotage.
I know.
Right? So it got me to wondering, is Arnold Schwarzenegger the greatest action movie actor of all time?
Action movie actor of all time. Well, that's a great question. I don't know. I mean, he's been in so many different things. He's obviously had a huge career, but are there other examples?
Well, I did write down probably 7 examples of other actors that could be in his league. And let me ask you, each one by one, would you stack them against Arnold? So let's start off with Sean Connery.
Sean Connery. So, obviously he cut his teeth on the James Bond franchise and he was more well-dressed with some action. So I don't know if I'd classify him as an action
But he was
hero.
in like Highlander, he was in...
But he didn't do like his own stunts? How much karate, martial arts did he do? Beating the crap out of people?
Yeah.
So he's like
He's like The Rock. He's
like an action actor light.
Yeah. What about Harrison Ford?
Well, so Harrison Ford, obviously you're going with the Raiders of the Lost Ark, looking at it from that angle, right?
Right. But he was also in like some of the Jack Ryan movies.
Oh, yeah,
you know what I mean?
That's right. Patriot Games.
Air Force One.
That's right,
you
yeah.
know.
So he kind of, he didn't do, strangely enough, even though he was kind of like the heavy, if you want to use that term in Star Wars, he didn't do a lot of like action in those movies other than running and shooting. There wasn't any, did he ever hit anybody in those movies? I don't remember him ever like punching anybody out.
He did shoot first. I did know that.
That's right. He shot first.
How about if we go on to Tom Cruise?
Tom Cruise. Well, he's another guy that started out with this varied career at the beginning, much more
serious actor stuff. And then once he hit the Mission Impossible franchise, he just took off and embraced it fully, and he's been doing a great job. But does he do his own stunts?
He does all his own stunts.
Oh.
He broke his leg in one of the Mission Impossible.
That's right.
He does Jack Reacher.
Oh, that's a great movie. The first one, Jack Reacher.
He's doing stuff like, some of the sci-fi things like Oblivion, Minority Report.
Yeah.
He's out there. So, yeah. And I always think about him on the motorcycle in like Top Gun and, also
I don't really
Mission Impossible.
Right, yeah. That motorcycle scene was so, like, small in that thing. And plus, it's more of a sports bike. It's not my type of vehicle, but...
Topless volleyball, though.
Topless volleyball.
What about Bruce Willis?
Bruce Willis. Well, his big thing was he came off of TV, then he went into movies, and then... obviously...
That's right, TV, moonlighting. I forgot about that.
Yeah. And then Die Hard was the best Christmas movie ever. Usually it's rated.
Yeah.
Ironically, as a super action movie. And he did it such a yippee-ki-yay.
Yeah.
In that movie.
Yeah.
And I don't want to say the next word, but we're going there. But, lately I just haven't seen him in anything. The last one was the Russian. So what's he been doing?
I've seen him a lot lately. You're not following the straight to Blu-ray market.
No, I don't go for those like hidden gems like you do.
Yeah, in fact, I think his last... Well, I saw him recently in Death Wish, but the last two movies that he came out with, one was called like Survive the Night, and then the very next one was called Survive the Burn.
Survive the Burn.
So they're like recycling titles for his movies. For some reason. I don't know.
On that note, Survive the Burn. You need some burn. Why am I drinking this so much faster?
All right, because
you're talking and I'm not.
All right. So while you pour me a little bit more too, okay, I will pose Sylvester Stallone to you.
Yeah, that guy definitely defined the role a lot. I mean, he did the Rockies, which, were super exciting, but that's not really action hero.
Rambos.
And then Rambo. That really set the bar. And unfortunately, it went downhill from there with the Rambos. And then
he was in The Expendables, right?
Which is like he tried to restart the
action genre. But in between that, he was in movies like The Specialist, Cliffhanger, John Carter, The Assassins with Antonio Banderas.
You mean Get Carter, not John Carter.
John Carter. I'm sorry. John Carter is from Mars. You're right.
I'm like,
it's Get Carter.
Minute. I don't remember seeing Sylvester Stallone on Mars with aliens.
Yes.
Actually, that's the one thing. Has he ever done a sci-fi alien movie?
He has. He was in he was in Judge Dredd, right? That was an alien.
That was more futuristic.
Then he was in Demolition Man.
Another futuristic one.
Not really with aliens.
With your favorite, Wesley Snipes.
I love Wesley Snipes. So, all right. Well, let's go to probably the biggest action star of our current time, The Rock.
The Rock. Yeah, well, what's interesting about The Rock is he started his career, and I wouldn't be surprised if he's actually looking at how Arnold did his, because it started out with more like, what was the first movie he was in?
Scorpion King.
Yeah, and so he's
Which is like Conan, right?
Right, exactly. Yeah. Like Conan the Barbarian, just like Arnold.
Yeah.
And then he goes into more like comedies, like The Babysitter or
Tooth Fairy.
The Tooth Fairy, right? Yeah. He goes into Tooth Fairy.
You didn't have little girls like I did.
Yeah,
I saw the Tooth Fairy.
No, sorry, I missed that gem. And then after that, he's been doing more like, I think he's hit the perfect thing for him is to be like the serious like action based star, but doing more like comedic side of it,
So you got the recent Jungle Cruise, which is on our list to review. Jumanji, which the Central Intelligence Agency with Kevin Hart. So it's comedic. He was in like Get Smart,
right.
But then he's in Fast and the Furious, The Rundown. You know what I mean? Baywatch.
Was he in one of the G.I. Joes too?
He was in G.I. Joe. He was in Doom. That. Every third movie stars The Rock that's put out, in Hollywood. So
like we said last time, that guy has a huge amount of irons in the fire.
Yeah, a little too many irons in the fire. And the thing is, I love The Rock. He actually probably is a better actor than Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yeah, definitely.
Maybe that's not saying much.
And that's why he's been able to play more of this like role where it's like slightly like Jumanji. He's playing like a serious role, but he's adding like humor to it.
Yeah.
Where when Arnold tried to get into those roles, like the funny stuff, it
like
never really
twins.
works because Arnold really can't act like subtle. You know,
Well,
everything has to be
over,
like that.
over.
Is it a
overbearing.
tuba?
You know, and the thing is, I liked stuff like Twins and Kindergarten Cop when they came out.
Right.
But like as I've gotten older, I don't want to watch those movies.
Exactly.
So-
You're not repeating them,
No.
you know, whereas you could go back and watch Jumanji again
Yeah.
multiple times, right?
Yeah, exactly, exactly. And by the way, ending with a rock, he's got his own line of tequila.
Ooh,
we might have to try that sometime.
we will, maybe.
It's called Terramana. So I've never tried it.
So
we
not a mezcal, it's a tequila, so it didn't come from one of those regions then.
I don't.
How that defined.
I don't know. I just know it's
Tequila.
called Terramana.
Yep.
So the last actor I'm going to bring up, you know,
Who's left?
is probably on the global scene, maybe the biggest action star of all time. That's Jackie Chan.
Jackie Chan.
Yeah.
So I guess what? He's internationally known. He obviously is huge in the Asian markets. But I mean, did he do his own stunts?
Oh, did he do his own stunts?
Oh.
He's broken almost like every bone in his body, including his back, with some of the stunts. There was a movie called Police Story where he was like trying to go down these Christmas lights like in a mall, and like he fell like almost like 2 stories, broke his back.
Ooh.
He's broken his leg. One of his first U.S. releases was Rumble in the Bronx, and he broke his leg and he
Ooh.
cast it and made it look like his pant and finished the movie
The whole
on a cast.
movie?
Yeah.
Wow, that's a guy dedicated to his craft.
Oh, yeah. He's awesome. I love Jackie Chan.
So here's a question: Is Arnold doing his own stunts?
Maybe in some of
Maybe
his old
most
days,
of them,
like in the
yeah.
Conan days, the Commando days, but he's not doing it now.
Predator,
Yeah.
you know, when he had to
He's-
go jump. But most of them
Yeah.
are more like him jumping at something. He's not doing like Tom Cruise where he's like,
No,
you know,
no.
climbing
He's-
a
he's too-
skyscraper type of thing.
He's too big to fail. So, I mean, you know, to get hurt. So,
But what's interesting about, you mentioned, you know, Jackie Chan and him working in the Asian market.
yeah.
Arnold is huge in Japan.
Oh, my God.
Those are, you know, hilarious.
Oh, man. I could watch those all day.
I know, it's like some of his best acting, ironically.
Probably so.
But a little known fact, a lot of American actors will go out and actually film in Japan these ridiculous commercials because it will never get played over here.
Those shouldn't get played over here, I'm telling you. I can't believe that a guy that would film those would film some of the best action movies of all time. And I mean, you know,
For the money.
Since we're talking about, you know, and reviewing a movie today by Arnold, I thought today's Cult Lord's Top 8 should be the best Arnold Schwarzenegger movies of all time. The top
best.
8.
The
All
best
right.
top 8, the Infinity 8.
The Infinity 8. Top 8. So now we're going to tell you our top 8 Arnold movies of all time, but go down in the comments and I want to hear what your top 8 Arnold movies are all time. I want to see if you have an Arnold Schwarzenegger movie that didn't make either one of our lists. Okay?
And there's a lot. I don't know how. Do you know how many movies he's made?
I do not.
I mean, if you just look at IMDb, it looks like it's in the 30s, which is
Oh,
amazing.
it's more than that.
You think it's more than that?
It's more than that. So
Must be a lot of hidden gems I haven't seen.
Dane, what is your number 8? And
Number 8.
We will work our way to number
Arnold
1.
Schwarzenegger movie, starting
Yes.
with 8. Well, my first one is more of a comedy. It's Twins. with
So
Danny-
Twins, we just talked about Twins. So that's your number 8.
That's my number 8 with Danny DeVito.
So would you go back and watch it today?
I would, because I haven't seen it for so long. And there's
Okay.
but you know, there's such a weird element in it with him, you know, that him and Danny are
Yeah.
completely related,
Yeah.
and then they, of course, they come up with some scheme and stuff. But yeah, I'll have to watch that one again. It's been a while. So what's
So
yours?
I enjoyed that movie, but
Not your top 8?
Not my top 8.
We have a theme going every week. You're not my top 8 every
Not
time.
my top 8. So number 8, I just recently rewatched this, and it's a little bit corny for like maybe today's millennials to watch this not knowing. It's The Running Man, right?
Oh, yeah, that was a great movie. I mean,
So-
I love my sci-fi.
Oh yeah, and I love Richard Dawson in this movie.
I forgot about that.
Oh yeah, you know, it's time to start running.
He was inspired in this movie to be playing that character.
Oh yeah, it's a great. To me, it's a great movie. I just don't know if it holds up for future generations. It's kind of corny.
It's corny, and the technology at the time was that weird early computer stuff. And they remade it.
It's got very 80s music to it too. So
and then you got what's her name, Conchita Gonzalez.
Maria Conchita Alonso. Yeah, she was fine in that. She did
a great job.
Very attractive in that, but you know, it was good.
Yeah.
So.
Okay.
So what is number 7 for you?
Well, ironically, The Running Man.
The Running Man.
Yep. So we can skip right through it if you want, but
well, it's just a good movie and
it's very foretelling. It's a prescient movie in the sense that with the whole thing of replacing the person and then putting another body there after they're dead. I mean, you're starting to see that with this whole deep cover, fake thing going on.
But it was all about entertaining the masses by taking prisoners and having them compete, you know, in a life or death situation for entertainment value. So, you know,
I'd watch that show.
I'd watch that. I'd buy that for $1. Remember that?
That's right. I'd buy that for $1.
I'd buy that for $1. All right. So for number 7, let's see if you remember this one. End of Days.
That was the apocalyptic one.
Yes, the apocalyptic one.
I haven't seen that one
World
for a long
coming to
time.
an end. Gabriel Byrne is like the
that's
devil
right.
incarnate. He's here to start the apocalypse, and Arnold is trying to stop it.
Is he
from
like?
happening.
It's been so long. I don't remember. Was he a priest or something, or what was his?
No, I can't remember how he got involved. I mean, I'll be honest with you. I have not seen it probably in
been a
like 5 or 6 years
long time.
myself. So I just remember the opening scene as being classic, where he's in a restaurant, or Gabriel Byrne is in a restaurant. He gets up, he walks over to some strange woman, doesn't know her, and like mesmerizes her with like hypnotically with his eyes, puts his hand down her shirt, grabbing her area, kisses her right in front of her husband. Her husband's like wondering what the heck is going on.
I didn't order this.
He walks out of the restaurant, and then the restaurant blows up.
That's the opening?
That's the opening scene.
Wow. I definitely don't remember that movie.
Yeah, really weird movie, but I liked it. So what's number 6 for you?
Number 6 for me is Predator.
Predator at 6. Okay.
Yeah, I put that there because, you know, it was one of those movies that kind of started, well, obviously it started an entire another story of the whole predator coming down and using our planet for hunting. It's another version of the Great Hunt or the big game or whatever it is, where humans in this case are being hunted in the remote jungles.
I always like it because Carl Weathers, who plays Apollo Creed, is in there. And I always like when they get together and they do this when they see each other. Like this, and you got the big bicep.
He's like, check that bicep out!
Yeah. So I love that part. That's
Dylan! You son of a bitch.
one of the greatest Arnold movies of all time.
And what's your number 6?
Well, I
Predator.
will foreshadow that Predator is on my list.
Okay.
But it is not there. So, what are we at? Number 6?
Yeah.
Commando.
Commando.
Do you remember Commando?
Yeah, I sort of do.
He's like ex-military, and like his daughter is involved, and like they kidnap his daughter, and he's going after him. But the things that I love about these old Arnold movies are the one-line quips he would do.
Oh, yeah.
So like,
that one had a lot.
you know, he throws this pipe through a guy's chest, and it hits this like hot water heater, and then all this steam comes out, and he goes, "Let a little steam off, why don't you?" And then he would he dropped a guy off a cliff, and they go, "Hey, what happened to this guy?" And he goes, "I let him off." You know what I mean? Just all these like one-line clip, you know, quotes. I just love them.
And do you remember who the main bad guy was?
It was Well,
It's an Australian actor.
I do remember one of the bad guys being this character actor who's in a lot of stuff as a bad guy. I can't think of his name right now. But
Right, I don't remember his name, but he is the main bad guy on the motorcycle in the, not the original, the second Road Warrior.
Oh.
The Mad Max. He's the guy with the mohawk who has his, let's just say, buddy on the back, chained to the back of his motor. He's always like, "Rah!" That's the same actor.
Love Commando. So we're at number 5, Dane. What do
The
you have?
Sixth Day.
The Sixth Day.
Kind of an unknown gem there.
Yeah.
It's about cloning technology.
That's right.
And being turned in, people replacing other people with their clones, and then, obviously the clones will follow their commands or whatever. So
I
had
do-
a lot of intrigue and sci-fi. It was
You know what?
cool.
I've got to see if that's in my collection or not.
Uh-oh.
Because
Found one.
What
are you up to?
5,000 doesn't cover all those movies out there. So not probably a good movie. I can't remember it. Wait, you know what? The cover art has something on his eyes, right? Like some sort of machine thing.
I think that's how it clones you, if I remember correctly. Honestly, it's been a while.
It's been a long time. Not in my top 8.
And
But
if I remember, the bad guy is the guy. Well, his name's Tony something, but he was in. If you saw Ghost, he was the guy, the bad guy in Ghost. I can't remember.
Yeah.
He's also the president in the recent show with Olivia Pope. He plays the president in that show. Sorry, I can't remember.
so we're at number 5,
Yeah,
right?
what's your number 5?
Total Recall.
Ah, yeah.
Total Recall.
Really good
Where they
movie.
go to
Some
Mars.
great special effects.
Sharon
And
Stone was like spectacular in that movie.
Was that her second movie?
It was like
Was
one
her
of her first or
first?
second
Because she was like
movies.
unknown in that movie. I think it
Well,
was her second movie.
She was also in a movie, I think before that, King Solomon's Mines with Alan Quartermain, with Richard Chamberlain.
That might have been after that, because she had a big role in that. I think Total Recall might have been her intro to the, because she was such a small role. But
We'll
she had
have
a
to
very
research
top-
that
Yeah,
after
that one we're gonna
because
have to check.
I think Alan Quartermain or King Solomon's Mine before that.
Might have been that. Okay.
All right.
So what's
Total Recall number 4 for you, Dane?
Terminator 2.
Terminator 2.
2.
All right.
That one I thought had a lot more than Terminator. He really didn't do anything. I'm sorry. He just walked around looking mean with his.
9mm automatic Uzi with laser sighting. I love when he goes to the gun store and just naming all
the original.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
second one, he actually had some acting, and he had to play obviously a robot.
Yeah.
So that one I thought was much better than the first in the sense that for him,
Yeah.
Yeah,
I got you.
you can't beat Terminator, the first one, anyways. It was such a well done movie, very similar the way it was shot in the Alien style,
Yeah.
very bare bone, but serious the whole way through. Terminator 2 had some funny parts.
Yeah. Yeah. It was a
So
great
what's
movie.
yours?
For number 4, I have True Lies. Do you remember True
I
Lies?
do remember True Lies.
And I will just say this as a Blu-ray collector. James Cameron, please release it on Blu-ray.
Oh, that's not on Blu-ray?
This is one of the big movies that has never been released on Blu-ray. And if you read why, the studio would like to put it out, but James Cameron has the ability to...
What's up, James?
To put it out or not put it out. And he says if he's ever going to put it out, he wants to, watch the whole process and make sure it's up to his standard, but he never has time to put it out.
Oh, he's always busy.
So I love you, James Cameron, but come on, dude. Hire some professionals to put that out.
Can't you clone yourself and put somebody there that can at least review and give you the highlights?
But how about that Jamie Lee Curtis scene in True
Oh,
Lies?
I know. Yeah.
Okay,
You can't say enough about that one.
All right. So we're going to number 3. What is number 3?
My number 3 is Total Recall.
Total
Well,
Recall.
I know we're going to start, we're going to go back and forth with these movies here, but my number 3 is Total Recall, just because I thought... Yes, Quato, the special effects, there was some computer generated, but a lot of it was completely mechanic.
Yeah.
And it was a great storyline, and there was kind of a mystery on a mystery, and obviously he's
What
getting
was his
chased.
name? What was his name in that movie?
Oh, it was John McCain.
I was going to say, would it be John Carter on Mars? I just
That would be hilarious if it was. It wasn't.
No.
It was something like McCain or something, but that's obviously what's
All
his
right,
name.
all
I'm
right.
thinking of the Simpson bad guy.
Yeah.
McNabb. What was his name?
I don't know. But my number 3 is Terminator/Terminator 2. I'm just lumping those two because it's a franchise. But the Terminator franchise, and specifically 1 and 2. I don't know if you've seen some of the newer ones.
Seen them all.
Genesis, Salvation, Terminator 3.
They're making them interesting.
Yeah. I mean, they're good, but nothing beats those first two. And, you know, really good. Love Terminator. So now we're going to number 2, and I'm
Number
interested to
2.
see what this is going to be for you.
For me, number 2 is Conan the Barbarian.
Wow, I cannot believe
You
that.
thought I was going number 1 with that, didn't you?
I thought you were going number 1 because
the
that's your favorite superhero of all time.
Hear the lamentations of their women.
Crush your enemies, see them driven before you, and hear the lamentation of their women.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah, well, and I will agree. The funny
Looking
thing,
for an emblem of 2 snakes like this. You know what I mean? Remember that?
well, it was a perfect movie for his acting style.
Oh, yeah.
Because it was just him
Yeah.
playing himself
Yeah.
in a like a barbarian outfit.
Yeah.
And I would
the
love to,
Sumerian with the Austrian accent.
So
you
the
know?
weird thing is Oliver Stone, I would love to know how much input he gave to Arnold Schwarzenegger during the filming of that. If he was like giving him coaching or...
Was Oliver Stone involved in that?
Yeah. He directed it and I think he wrote it.
Oh.
It's one of those weird little...
Are you sure about that? I know.
I'm sure
I know
about
this is. I know this is
that.
an Oscar De Laurentiis movie, like Excalibur was. If you remember that producer.
I'm very positive Oliver Stone, and remember when we watched it a couple
I
of years
think
ago, and we were both like, what? Oliver Stone did Conan the Barbarian? Like, we had no idea
I'm
he
going
was
to argue
involved.
with this one.
And, yep, written by Millis and Oliver Stone, based on Robert E. Howard's Conan.
Is it he did?
So he did the, no, he didn't do the directing. So I am incorrect there, but he did do the writing.
Interesting.
And,
Oh,
and that might explain why that movie really works at a fantasy level, because it was really well written.
Oh, I will never forget seeing that in the theater as a kid. My parents took me to this
I
movie.
sure wasn't. I was seeing Benji in
I
the
know.
movie theaters.
My
You're
parents took me to
you're going
this.
like see,
I will
you
never
know.
forget the witch scene. You know, as
yeah.
being like a little 13-year-old, 12-year-old kid. I don't know when this movie was like 83.
Before PG-13.
It was rated R. But the witch scene where he goes into the little hut and makes love to the witch, and then she turns into a witch, and then he like throws her off, and she like flies out of the.
And she's like, and then it like turns into like.
And then James Earl Jones turned into the snake.
It's like, is that the only time he's ever been a bad guy? Is that movie? I'm not counting
I
Darth
don't
Vader's
know.
voice.
I don't know.
It might be.
But it was awesome.
It was
in that.
great,
When
yeah.
he made the lady jump from the pyramid, come jump, and the lady jumped
Yeah.
because she was
They had a lot of serious tones in that movie. So
that. Unfortunately, the Jason Momoa remake. Did you see that?
Yes, I know. It was unfortunate.
It was very
not-
unfortunate.
And they had so much
You know
to
what?
go off of, and I was amazed that they couldn't like repeat a great movie.
Oh no, and I'm a Jason Momoa fan, but that was horrible. But touche.
Is that a Momoamite? Is that what you call
So
it?
that was your number 2,
That
right?
was my number 2. What's yours?
It's Conan. So that said, it's Conan.
Slap us some kid. Conan number 2.
I just kid. You know, that's a movie I gotta watch every like couple of years
Yeah,
because it's
I
just so
agree.
good. You know what I
I
mean?
highly recommend it, even for people that don't usually watch fantasy movies. This one was really well written.
Yeah.
So,
The Riddle of Steel. All right. So
all right,
number 1, we come to number 1. What is your number 1?
Bring out the number 1. For me, it's True Lies.
True Lies.
True Lies.
That was your favorite.
I'm telling you, yeah, because it was so well, like, the way it was shot, the way it was filmed, the storyline,
Yeah.
the whole thing. I mean, ironically, it's more of a Jamie Lee Curtis movie than an Arnold Schwarzenegger. I mean,
It is.
You know,
because
and she has such a, like, you know, you were talking about that scene where she does basically the strip tease because
Right.
she has to, because she thinks that guy's going to kill her, and then, of course...
Yeah.
I don't know if we're spoiling this
Yeah.
for anybody, but I mean, it was such a well-done movie, and it's one of those you can kind of watch over and over again.
Arnold's
because-
in the shadows
Yes,
watching
he's
like
like,
this. He's got his hand, and he's holding a recorder, and like she falls and he drops it. And he's like looking like he's gonna help her. And then Tom Arnold is like the
you're right, the comic
relief in that.
relief in that movie. So that was my number 1, just because I thought, well done, Arnold.
All right, my number 1. Can you guess what my number 1 that I haven't even mentioned yet on my
Like, what
list?
movies haven't we talked about? Was it Kindergarten Cop?
Yes.
I bet it is.
No, it's
Damn!
not. Mine is Predator. That movie, whenever that is on like HBO and I'm like flipping through channels and I don't care what point of the movie it's on, I have to stop and watch because I love Predator. I mean, it's just the It's the epitome of Arnold Schwarzenegger out in the jungle leading a team, of ex-special forces, you know what I mean?
Right.
Jesse Ventura, I ain't got time to bleed.
That's why you like him, Jesse Ventura.
I ain't got time to bleed, you know what I mean? Predator is the best. And then he takes off his helmet and he's like, you are one ugly. You know what I'm talking about, right? So it's just...
Mofo.
Yeah.
I think I can say mofo on camera, can't we?
I don't know. But I will toast to Predator. That was a great top 8. Make sure to go down to the comments. Tell us your top 8 Arnold Schwarzenegger movies of all time. We'd love to hear what you say.
Yeah, please do, man. We want to hear what your opinion is. If we're completely full of whatever.
I have a feeling it's going to be similar with everybody. Somebody might put in Kindergarten Cop. There's been some other movies I haven't seen of his lately. Like, there's one where he's like the father of a girl who turns into a zombie.
What?
I haven't seen that one.
Is this called like Maddie or something?
Yeah, it is. It's like that.
Yeah,
so
I had some other ones. I'm like, Maggie. It's called Maggie. Right?
I own that on Blu-ray. Never watched it, so maybe we'll watch it.
I can't stand it. I know you planned it. I'm gonna set it straight. This Watergate. I can't stand rockin' when I'm in here. 'Cause your crystal ball ain't so crystal clear. So while you sit back and wonder why, I got this fucking thorn in my side. Oh my God. It's a mirage. I'm telling you all, it's a sabotage.
Well, so what did you think? Acting debut.
So Dane, I think you confused the movie Sabotage with Arnold Schwarzenegger.
What?
With the song Sabotage from the Beastie Boys. Great song. Great. I love that song. And I don't know if you ever seen the video. Probably one of the greatest rock videos of all time.
Of course, Spike Jonze, that guy whoever came up with the idea of doing the 70s cop show with them,
Hilarious.
basically doing the song while they're running around. It is so funny.
Yeah. If you have never seen it, go type into YouTube, Beastie Boys Sabotage video. It's hilarious.
Right, and the song is awesome. I mean, it's like a mix of rock and punk at the same time. There's that driving beat, a little bit of rap mixed in there. I mean, it's really a great mix.
It's easily in my top 3 Beastie Boys songs of all time.
For me, it's number 1.
Really? Number 1?
Oh, yeah, and I'm not a big rap guy.
I was going to say,
just
can
love
you
that
name
song.
another Beastie Boys song?
Brass Monkey.
Oh, okay. I give you some kudos. And Brass
You have
Monkey
to drink.
Brass Monkey is
I named a Beastie Boy, man. Go
off
ahead.
their first album, License to Ill. So.
Well, this is off the Ill Communication, I think is the name of the album.
Yeah.
Yeah, right? It's Ill Communication. Sabotage is on that. We have, of course, this one back here, which is kind of their greatest hits.
I'm telling you, William Shatner has nothing on you in his Rocket Man interpretation.
You could tell? That's what I
think you might quit your day job and see if you can come up with a new medium to disperse some of the most popular songs.
Like YouTube? I should just start a channel doing dramatic readings?
Yeah, let's create a channel where you can post videos and just do whatever with no copyright strikes. How about that?
The strikes.
Yeah, no copyright strikes, YouTube.
All right.
All right, so I think today for episode 3, we have to move away from the song Sabotage to talk about the movie Sabotage. And with Arnold Schwarzenegger. And before we get into our review, let me read you some stats on this, Dane. So Sabotage actually came out in 2014.
Okay.
It was
2014?
Yeah, it was released in March.
I thought this was recent.
Yeah, 2014.
Man, you were dusting off another one from the collection.
Dusting off a classic. From Open Road Films, it only did $10 million at the box office in the U.S., $22 million worldwide. And even though it was released in 2014, it wasn't released on Blu-ray until 2019, May 2019.
Oh, that's why.
Now, it was written by Skip Woods and David Ayer. Now, David Ayer, this guy's interesting because he also wrote Training Day and he also wrote the screenplay for the very first Fast and Furious and U-571. Did you ever see that submarine movie with Matthew McConaughey?
No, I never saw that one.
Oh, very good movie. He wrote the screenplay. I was surprised by that. So now in his directing, David Ayer directed this movie. His works include End of Watch, Harsh Times, Fury, the Brad Pitt tank movie.
Oh, that was a great movie. That was such an awesome movie. You can just rewatch it. So well done.
He directed Fury.
Fury.
He also directed the first Suicide Squad. Not the most recent one, but the first one
had a nice grittiness to it and a good story.
He did Bright, which was that Netflix movie with Will Smith, where orcs showed up.
That was a great one. I thought they were going to turn that into a series.
They're coming out with a Bright too.
Oh, that was a great. I hope he does. I mean, a lot of Will Smith movies tend to be a little bit more like repetitive.
Yeah.
I mean, he's kind of playing the same character over. But that was like one of those rare movies. Like it wasn't a Will Smith movie, It
was a good movie,
yeah.
And then finally he directed a movie called The Tax Collector. Shia LaBeouf, and
Didn't see that.
I just bought that Blu-ray earlier this year. Actually, I bought it in Steelbook, and we'll have to check that out sometime. So now this movie stars Arnold Schwarzenegger. He is the leader of a DEA team named John. Always a plain name for Arnold Schwarzenegger, it seems.
I know. I think they don't want to corrupt the Schwarzenegger mouthful, so they're giving him something simple.
He also in it is Sam Worthington. You remember him from Clash of Titans?
Yeah. That guy, there was a lot of big hitters in this movie.
There is. Terrence Howard, Hustle and Flow.
I was going to say.
He was on the show Empire.
And original Iron Man.
Originally, he was the first roadie on Iron Man.
Yeah.
And then I understand that he asked for too much money or something like that. And then it became Don Cheadle.
Poetic differences with his...
There's Josh Holloway, who was in Lost as Sawyer.
Yes.
Remember him?
His big claim to fame.
He was also in The Colony. And then there's Joe Manganiello, who plays...
Sophie?
No, who does he play in this?
Oh, Grinder! That's right. Grinder was the man who poured this for us. Thank you, Grinder.
Yeah, so he played in True Blood and Magic Mike and Magic Mike 2. I know.
I didn't see those two movies.
Sure
Sorry, no.
I'm sure you've seen
those are movies you probably have like the special in the case.
Yes.
You got the steel copy of those movies?
I don't, but I do have those movies. Also playing is Morel Enos, who's the redhead in this. She is Brad Pitt's wife in World War Z. Did you know that?
Oh, that's right. I couldn't place her. I forgot about that.
And then she's in the TV series The Killing. And then the deputy or the detective.
Yeah, Olivia
Williams. She was on The Last Day of Mars. Now.
And she was in Rushmore.
Great
Wes Anderson movie. We love that movie.
So.
Go ahead.
Dane, usually I read the movie summary in my best movie voice. I think you should read it.
A dramatic reading or a regular reading? Okay. So members of an elite
Wait, no.
What?
No. I need you to read it with like a movie theater voice. I know you've got the face for radio, but you've got the voice for TV voiceover. So, after watching that, Sabotage video,
let me get my pipes ready.
Yes. All right. Go for
it. In a world of an elite members of a DEA task force find themselves being taken down one by one after they rob a drug cartel safe house.
Nice. You've got a career, I think, in that.
All right.
I think we should watch the trailer, though.
Sabotage.
Get your weapons. Let's go.
Move. Go.
Target down! Clean up aisle 3.
Today's raid on the cartel led to a seizure of hundreds of millions of dollars.
2 murders of DEA agents have happened on my watch.
Oh my God.
$10 million is missing from your bust. Did you steal it?
No.
The cartel thinks you'd stolen money.
You see any other feds getting smoked?
Cartel's got your wife and kid.
I'm gonna destroy.
Dane, this better have guns in it.
Yeah, where are all the explosions?
I don't know, but I need guns.
Man, I don't see enough guns.
There's never enough guns.
What? There are too many non-gun scenes.
I don't know, but where's the... Oh, there are the guns!
Wait, I didn't get an explosion. Oh, there it is.
Experience the Sabotage Red Band trailer at sabotagethefilm.com/redband.
So, Dane, when we get back from the trailer, what's the warning we always like to give our viewers?
Normally the spoilers, but first I want to address an issue pointed out by your brother.
Oh.
He noticed that somehow I'm drinking a lot more than you are during these movie reviews.
Probably so.
So get into it now.
Okay, I tell you what, for him and my audience, I will drink a little bit
Such
more.
sacrifice.
Such sacrifice.
And meanwhile, while he is going to finish off this fine beverage, I'm going to read the spoiler-heavy part of our thing. Remember, come back at this time, because we're spoiling like crazy, into the future, and skip all of the things that we're talking about. However, if you've watched the movie, stick around. If you agree with what we say, we want to hear it in the comments. If you don't agree with what we say, we want to hear it in the comments too. But remember, come back later and hear our grade.
So, why don't we take one more drink?
For your brother's sake?
And we'll talk about this movie.
All right.
So, Dane, the opening scene shows John Wharton, Arnold Schwarzenegger, watching a video of a woman getting tortured.
Yeah, that was super dramatic.
It was. We don't know immediately who this woman is or what is going on. But we will later in the show. They will reveal what importance this has to Arnold.
And that was one thing I found very disturbing at the beginning is, Arnold has always done like dramatic action roles, and yeah, some of it's serious, but this is like the most serious I've ever seen it with blood and guts. Right off the bat.
It's a very disturbing scene, and you don't know, like, was this a case he was working on that's gone bad, or what? You don't know what this is. But they immediately cut to start Act 1. The movie in Act 1 basically establishes who everyone is, what they do. John Wharton, which is Arnold, he plays the leader of a DEA task force. Mm-hmm. And in the beginning, they're on the raid of a drug lord's house, right? They have one of their teammate members, which is Muriel Enos, who plays Lizzie, the redhead. Yep.
Very intense character in this movie, and obviously Deep Plant.
Yep.
Was getting extra credit by doing a little blow on the bar counter.
She's gone a little too far into deep cover. You never do drugs when you're undercover. But she has to win over these drug lords. She's infiltrated this house. She knows everything about these people and the layout out of the house, which becomes important. So, the team arrives in their armored vehicles. I think 2 of them. They get out. They immediately come in. They skillfully gun down all the bad guys. Yeah. Take down the crime boss.
Obviously professionals.
Professionals. They take down all the bad guys. And Lizzie's like, hey, I know where the money is, right? And so you're like, where the money is. Okay. So they make their way down to the basement. And in this basement room is a pallet of cash, right?
And then,
right. So you're thinking, okay, the DEA, they want to take down this drug cartel or whoever it is. They probably want to seize the cash, right? But
you would assume.
You would assume. But then what happens, and they're being monitored on radio frequencies, off camera by the DEA agency heads, right? And they're monitoring this. They don't have video on them, but they have audio on them. So they now, when they're in the basement, they act like they're still fighting and facing obstacles. But what they're doing is they're skimming money off the top of the pallet. And they're putting it down underneath a toilet.
The grossest toilet ever.
The grossest toilet ever. They're putting it down a sewer pipe.
They moved the toilet.
Yeah, they're putting it down a sewer pipe. Then they put the toilet back on. Okay. Right. Now, here's what confuses me. They walk out of this room. They throw grenades in and blow up the rest of the money.
Well, he puts that giant bag and then he shoots it and blows the money up. Yeah, and I'm like, what was the point of that?
Okay, so they blow up the money.
What?
Right? Okay, well, maybe that was the order by the DEA's get rid of the money, right?
Kind of thinking that.
Okay, so they cut to they're outside. The action is over. The rest of the feds have come in. They're now doing excavation on the house. It looks like maybe it's either later that night or the next day. The whole team is in a sewer pipe a convenient.
Oh yeah, I know.
A convenient 10-foot sewer pipe that runs under the house.
It's like I didn't realize sewage pipes were that big.
They don't run that big.
I mean, I was gonna say, they have this small pipe where the poop comes out, and somehow it goes into this giant pipe. Like, what do they have? Mastodon poops in there?
Like if they're crawling on their bellies under the house, I get it. But they're all walking 10-foot sewer pipe.
Doesn't even have to bend down. I mean, well, how tall is Arnold Schwarzenegger?
And they're there to retrieve the money. But guess what? The money is gone.
It's gone. Somebody clipped the rope.
And there you have the MacGuffin. And if you are familiar with film terms, a MacGuffin is simply a vehicle or a device that seems important to the movie, but it's not really important to the movie.
Right.
It simply kicks off the action that needs to go for the rest of the movie.
It's like when the objective gets declared in the official screenwriting terms.
So I learned that in my film courses. You probably learned that in script courses. This is our MacGuffin, the missing money, right?
The missing money.
So now they're in questioning with the DEA agents, right?
Arnold is.
Arnold, no,
well,
but
they've all been broken into separate interrogation sessions, but they.
Well, here's what I don't understand. The DEA agents specifically say, where's the missing $10 million?
Right, and I know.
But how would they know there's $10 million missing if they blew up the money?
Well, I said the same thing. I'm like, wait a minute. I mean, did they already know that somebody was putting money down there, like in exactly $10 million? Plus, they blew it up. Did they go down there and count out every half bill?
Money is smithereens now.
I don't know. Maybe they had a rough estimate.
So this is, I think, going to be a common theme as we review movies. Okay, and as a script writer, to me, this is bad writing. Right? This is bad writing. I like movies where I don't question very much in the movies. When I have to question certain logic of the movie, then I have to really suspend belief of reality to accept the movie, right? But this is an easy fix, it seems like, in the writing of this movie.
I mean, it would have been easy. Just say, where's all the money? We knew there were millions down there, and yet there's nothing.
There's nothing. Yeah,
maybe that's it. Number.
Yeah, why did it blow up or whatever?
Yeah, why is the money all in fire, Arnold? Or what's his name?
John Wharton. But the money's gone.
No explanation.
The money's gone. They somehow know 10 million is missing.
Yeah.
And then it wasn't even, the team didn't even get it, right? And so you're wondering, like, well, who took the money, right? So now
that was kind of like very subtly like revealed that, oh wait, the DEA knows that the money, specifically 10 million, was taken.
Right.
But then nobody knows where it is.
Yeah.
And they're trying to hammer them all in interrogation sessions.
And then everybody's
where's the money?
I don't even know what you're talking about. We were then there doing a job. You know what I mean? We don't know where the money is. The money exploded. We don't know what you're talking about. Everybody, is keeping to the act. But you know what? When they were hiding the money, they were all talking about getting their last payday, right? From this. This was their payday. So obviously they knew what they were doing, right?
Right.
So now
they're professionals.
So now we've got Act 1 flushed out. What is going to be the precipice of this movie? We got our MacGuffin established. We're going to go into Act 2 now, and what's happening is team members start showing up dead, right?
Yeah, that was confusing too, because so specifically Pyro, right? In the RV when he wakes up, and you're like,
wait, what? Yeah. So the first guy that dies, he's sleeping in a Winnebago.
Right. After they did their big party.
Yeah, they had a big party. He's sleeping in a Winnebago. He wakes up to go to use the restroom. He's using the kitchen sink of the Winnebago. And he looks out, and he hears a train whistle. And here comes a train right at his Winnebago. And he's like, what? His Winnebago is straddling across the train.
I know. At first, I'm like, did he park that there? Because he was so drunk, he didn't realize?
Yeah, so then he tries to get out the door. The door's jammed. He can't get out the Winnebago.
Yeah. Can't break a window.
Right.
All the windows are taped shut or something.
Yeah, can't do that. So the train hits the Winnebago, kills him. Right.
So that was a great scene, though. Did you close up watch that? With the guy rolling around?
The guy rolling around. Now here's what I want to ask you. Once again, this comes down to writing. poor writing. So when the cop, who is Olivia so-and-so, she's now
Olivia, and then
she's the detective,
African-American guy.
The African who was on Lost too, right?
And he was on Showgirls.
Oh yeah, no, that's different guy.
No, he was on Showgirls.
No, different guy.
All right, You'll see a lineup here
No,
soon.
the guy who played on Lost is not the same guy on Showgirls. So I can promise you that.
Okay.
We don't need to look at it now.
Go ahead.
We'll put it in post-ed. So she's Detective Caroline Brentwood. She's an abrasive cop. She's trying to solve the case here. She shows up on the scene with John. What I wanted to tell you...
Was she FBI or what was she?
No, she was just a detective of the police department.
The police department.
Yeah. And so...
investigating the pyro murder, the guy that died in the RV.
Now, when they're looking at the crime scene, this was the most ridiculous thing. We saw the guy rolling around.
Yeah.
But there's body parts of him scattered all over the place.
I know, they show it like what looks like what could be like they put a body through a meat grinder, sitting, and they're all like commenting like, man, that's gross. And then
exploded because like while they're on one side of the track looking at like a piece of his body, there's detectives on the other side going, we found more pieces over here.
Yeah.
Like, and I'm like, that's not how the body would react to being hit by a train.
But
maybe it would be cut in half, but it wouldn't be exploded into 100 different pieces,
grinded up, and like looks like raw meat or something like that.
I'm like, this is so poor.
Right, and again, that's been and actually this so this dovetails into this whole point. So they went overboard with that meat scene of the body getting ridiculously torn up, and everyone's like, what? There's no way. The other thing they went overboard is the whole dialogue at the beginning with them constantly like, F-bomb this, F-bomb that. It's like the guy was deliberately writing a movie that he's like, I gotta make this like street ready.
And you know what? I like manly movies, but they were like, let's ramp up the testosterone by about 1,000% here.
Right.
And like, I've been around some military soldiers before at a bar. I have some friends that serve. And there is a higher level of testosterone, but they took it way overboard.
Yeah,
it was ridiculous, right?
Yep.
And then how they treated the detective when she walked in just to ask some questions.
Oh yeah, they're all like, get out of here.
Yeah, don't get your panties in a bunch, there, miss. You know what I mean? It was just,
it would have been a simple thing just to, because the thing is wouldn't they be concerned? Their buddy just got killed. When they want the police to help them? I mean, it was like you really, they were deliberately setting it up that you're suspecting one of them of doing it.
It's either one of them or possibly a cartel member, right?
Right.
So, so the next team member that gets killed, he's a survivalist, and he's at his cabin out in the woods, and 4 highly armed killers come in, and they take him down just as John... Arnold and Detective Brentwood were there to try to talk to him. Uh-huh. They ended up, getting there just a little bit too late. They find his body, and luckily he did take one the gunman down. Arnold knew exactly where to cut into the shirt to go see the tattoo, that it was a Guatemalan cartel member, right?
Right, which goes back to the way the movie started.
Well, not really. So, not really, yeah.
It wasn't the same cartel?
It wasn't the same cartel.
Okay.
So, they're investigating that. Meanwhile, it leads them to the third member that they're rushing to his house. Sawyer, the Sawyer character.
I know. He's forever going to be known as Sawyer.
Yeah. I'm sorry, bud. I mean...
I know. You really need to establish yourself in some other role other than Sawyer.
You've been typecast as Sawyer. So Sawyer
you need to do another dramatic role.
Who was Sawyer? What was his name in this one?
It's something odd. They all had odd names.
They all had odd names.
Pyro, Grinder,
Sugar.
Yeah, His was wasn't his
I can't remember
Handsome Dan or something?
I don't remember. So they rush over to his house.
Yeah.
Something feels odd, of course, to John.
Yeah.
Something always feels odd. This feels odd.
It's like, what's wrong with this house? It feels odd.
When somebody's dead, I get this feeling that somebody's dead.
My spidey sense turns on.
So they go in, guns blazing, can't find anything, and then the detective falls in a pool of blood.
Yeah, she slips, and then they look up.
And he's nailed to the ceiling
with like guts
hanging out,
blood up.
Blood. Let's make this as bloody as we can. But you know what? Cartels, I guess, do that sometimes to make a point. So
make a point, but
yeah.
you know that was a heck of a lot of work to get somebody up on the ceiling because you gotta have scaffolding.
Oh yeah.
Not like you can prop them up there and go bam, bam, bam with a nail gun. They kind of skip that part about the construction involved.
Are we looking too hard at movies, at the realism of this, and not just simply accepting it at face value?
Yes, I know.
I don't know, but to me there was actually some lazy writing in this. Sorry, David,
they wanted to make it super dramatic and the ceiling would be super dramatic.
Yeah, I mean, I've never written a script before. Maybe if it's taken you months, you take some shortcuts, or you fall so in love with your script you don't see the errors in it. But
I mean, I would expect that particular situation to be in a vampire movie.
Yeah.
So
now it's at this time that one of the team members gets a bit spooked and decides to go talk to the detective, right? And she wants to know who would want this team dead. Let's see, you guys are a team taking down lots of drug cartels. Help me understand, who would want you guys dead?
I know, I don't get it.
I don't get it. Who would want to kill you guys? You're taking down drug lords, taking their money.
Brutally taking them down, taking their money.
But please explain to me, because I can't figure this out as a seasoned vet. Who would want you dead?
Right.
Yeah, okay. So he talks about a couple of different cartels. He talks about 2 or 3 different cartels.
Okay.
But then he talks about a cartel group out of Mexico that kidnapped John's wife and son a few years back. And he tortured them on video, and he sent them He sent John body parts every day for a month. This was our opening scene. He was watching the video of his wife being tortured.
And I'm kind of surprised they didn't show the body parts that were getting sent. Just to go with the rest of the movie.
Yeah.
They were so over the top with like the blood and the guts and like ridiculousness.
I was like wondering, is this
blood
like
everywhere?
Is this like an Eli Roth movie? And like, is this get as bloody as we can?
Right, or it's like From Dusk Till Dawn, where it dramatically changes into a blood vampire movie.
I don't know. Now that would have been something.
Great movie, by the way.
That would have been something. So,
you're right. Go ahead.
What am I right?
That would have been better movie if vampires somehow were in the movie. You imagine that would change the movie?
Maybe Robert Forster as a werewolf comes out. But anyways, so now that and John happens to walk in on this confession by the guy telling the detective about his wife, and then the guy's like, just trying to help, and he walks off. Now John's left with a detective, and the detective's like, why didn't you tell me your wife and kid, died,
Because I'm sure that's not known in the community.
Because the writer didn't want me to reveal it to you until right now, at the convenient time. So, Act 3 starts, right? Now, John and the detective are working together to try to find out who it is.
Really working together.
Yeah, well, to me, so what happens is, John goes over to the detective's house, who happens to be in her swimming pool naked, drinking a glass of wine.
I was like, if I was the actress, I'd be like, what?
Oh, this is a necessary scene?
This is necessary?
Disrobe here so Arnold can come in and see me drinking some wine.
Some wine? I mean, that could have been totally a different scene, but again, bad story writing. They're like, well, we got to have some nudity here. We got to have some nudity.
Oh, haven't they had enough nudity already in this movie?
Did they have any?
At the strip club.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's at the very beginning. Well, they needed to continue it.
Yeah. I mean, hey, I don't have a problem with nudity in a movie if it makes a point. Makes a point, or it's sensible. But that scene of him walking in and her in the pool, I was like, that was a no-nonsense scene. He could have just walked into her and she's in her kitchen having a glass of wine. But
that would have been much funnier.
She
just walks in.
She had to be naked in the pool.
Never mind, she's a police officer and she has a pool.
So
I didn't know they made that kind of money, because it's in California, right?
Yeah. So she gets into her robe. They go inside, and he says, "Hey, I've got a beat on some of those cartel members, and like where they're at and some DNA. I'm going to just slip you this evidence so you can go see if it matches up to like the crime scenes that we saw.
Fingerprints and
right?
stuff, yeah.
And she's like, and he goes, but you don't know where you got this from, right? And
Right.
she's like, yes, I don't know where I got this.
know nothing.
Right. So of course she takes it in. They get a beat on who it is through the DNA, and somehow they get a lead on where these guys are hanging out at some like shady apartment complex. But somehow the team that
He tries to get the team back together.
Yeah, well, he gets the team back together. They're all sitting around waiting, and somehow they're monitoring the police like frequencies, and they're like, oh, they got a beat on them at this apartment complex. Let's beat them over there.
Let's get there.
Yeah, so they hightail it to the apartment complex.
Before the cops,
skillfully, once again, take out all the bad guys with the guns, right?
Yeah.
Going through the apartment buildings. Yeah.
Almost kill a couple of kids, but nope, they're just too good.
Yeah, they're
They
just
can
too
pull
good.
it over. Nope.
Little girl standing there when they come around the corner, trigger, finger, discipline.
Grinder.
Don't shoot,
good
right?
thing, yeah.
So, now the police come, a little bit late. They walk out of the building saying, it's clear for you. We cleared it for you.
We cleared it for you. We did your job for you.
Yeah,
Go
and
ahead.
she realizes, you used me. You used me to get to this, right? Meanwhile, it was the wrong cartel. Do you remember that? The guys were like, guys, this is the wrong cartel, right? So now I had to
There's
go
a lot
back.
of little subtleties that went in this movie that I like. Some of it went over my head. Like,
yeah. So this is kind of a strange transition. So, the cops go in. They're looking at the clearance. Now, the very next morning, you see John and the detective at a cafe having coffee.
Right.
And in walks Joe Mangia,
the grinder. And he's like, you know what? Team.
I'm ready to talk.
Yeah.
He goes, I'm ready to talk.
I'm sick of this. There's just too much in-house fighting between the team members.
There's too much house fighting. I'm ready to go on record, tell you everything, including about the missing money. He goes, but can you hide me out? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Witness protection.
Even though we're in a very public place right now.
And they're like, if you're going to do that, we can help you. And then just at that moment, bullet comes through.
Bam.
His head explodes. Right? His head explodes. There's a sniper out there.
Through here, out there.
Takes him out. Maybe that was an Oliver Stone, magic bullet thing.
Right.
But
shot.
But they immediately go to no mystery on who took the shot. They immediately show you it's Lizzie.
Right. And at that point you're like, what?
Right.
Okay. I guess that was the big reveal, but it was
the big reveal. Maybe she's the crooked one. It makes sense. She's a druggie. You know what I mean? She was doing drugs.
Yeah, he makes
Arnold
a point
even
of her calling her out on it. Yeah.
Calling her out on her druggie. Maybe she's mixed up. She took the $10 million, maybe?
Maybe? Although, why would she kill that guy? I mean, it was kind of weird. And the other side of it is, how the hell did she know what he was even talking about?
And she knew where he was going to be at the cafe. She's in a convenient little hotel across the street from the cafe, shooting out of the window.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like a motel, you know what I mean? So
great view of the entire, one of those diners.
So, Arnold's like, get down! Get to the topper! You know what I mean? Kind of one of those moments.
Grabs his new girlfriend down.
His new girlfriend down. That they did consummate that relationship. I guess we did say that.
Sexy time.
So they go chasing after her, and they find out that she is now dating Terrence Howard's character.
Oh, right. They reveal when they all get together to talk about who shot Grinder.
Yeah, who shot Grinder.
And that was a weird scene.
Yeah.
It was like, they all get together. They're all, suspicious of each other. And then
they're all
she's
like, who did it? It could be you. It could be you. Yeah.
And then she's like, no, I'm with Sugar now. And I'm like, what? That's the weirdest way to,
reveal that. It didn't make too much sense.
And so then you're like, okay, so then did they take the $10 million?
Yeah. Yeah.
And then they're trying to kill everybody else, but they got the $10 million. So why are they trying to kill everybody else? Why don't they just leave and flee with the money?
Yep. Yeah.
It's like they had a vendetta, personal vendetta about everybody else, against everybody else.
Yeah, once again, are we being a stickler for good writing? I mean, sometimes we just accept things in movies, but, so come to find out, there's on this, I'm cutting a little bit forward and leaving some stuff out, but once John Arnold and Detective Olivia find out that it's Terrence Howard and Lizzie. They somehow get into this
Sugar and Lizzie.
ridiculous car chase with them, where Terrence Howard is driving the car
After the huge shootout.
Yeah, there's a huge
Right.
shootout. But
And
like
she's
she's in the trunk open. Okay. She's in the trunk shooting.
Like standing up almost.
Standing
Never
up
mind,
in the
well,
trunk.
all that-
And like they're going around corners and everything. And somehow she's not flying out of this trunk.
Like she must be hooked in somehow.
She's gotta be like tied in to stay in. Meanwhile, Olivia, detective, is driving a big Chevy truck, like flatbed truck. Arnold is standing in the flatbed, shooting over the cab. She's going around things, and he's not flying out of the
Somehow
flatbed.
he stays perfectly up the
he's
whole
staying
time.
perfectly safe. They're going up hills, going through alleys. They think they've lost him. They caught up with him. They would both have flown out of those
Right.
cars.
I mean-
if you see this car chase, you're gonna laugh. I was laughing out loud.
I know. Well, I forget about Arnold, but
Yeah.
when Lizzie was in the back of the trunk, I'm like, there's no way that one hard curve and she would have been like, whoa.
They would have been tossed
Whoa.
like rag
And
dolls.
somehow they're doing perfect shots
Yeah,
too. You
doing
know, this
perfect
extremely,
shots.
like high-speed car chase.
Yeah, but
Well,
finally,
actually, on that point, so even though they were doing high-speed car chase and they were getting thrown around, they weren't getting thrown around. The irony is, Arnold could not shoot her.
Yeah.
Even though it's like literally like 100 feet in front of him,
Yeah.
and she's standing like full body up. It's not like she
Meanwhile-
was crouched down. She
meanwhile,
was like kneeling.
in between them, as they're chasing, an innocent bystander drives her car there in the middle of them, and Lizzie happens to shoot and explode an innocent lady's head in her car, and then she says something like, "Oh, I got her!" Like she just killed an innocent woman. She's like, "Oh my God!"
I know. What is this? Death race 10,000?
Oh my
6,000?
God.
Whatever, 3,000? Where
Like-
she's trying to get her points.
I don't know.
Like, great
just-
shot. I mean, I guess they were trying to
Grand Theft Auto, you know what I mean, on a screen.
You know, and that's a great point. I mean, this movie really was like somebody watched too much Grand Theft Auto and said, I'm going to turn that into a movie and make like this super gritty, ridiculously over the top shoot 'em up movie.
So the car chase ends as Terrence Howard is like kind of paying attention to Lizzie, doesn't pay attention to a stopped truck in front of him.
And never mind, he can't see Lizzie because the trunk
Yeah.
is up. So he
Yeah.
has no idea what's
But
going
he's talking
on.
to her. He's like, "Oh, wait, what's going on back there?" And then he like, "Oh no!" He sees a truck in front of him. He hits the truck, decapitating him in the car,
right.
and kills him.
Perfect decapitation.
Lizzie breaks all her bones in her body, is laying in the trunk bleeding, and John comes up and the detective come up. They got their guns on her,
She's barely alive.
and then she's like,
Well, no, the detective's behind
Yeah.
John.
and
So he
then
gets in close.
and then he goes, "Why did you have to do this, Lizzie?" And she's like, "Well, I can't even remember what her stupid excuse was
She's
why
like,
she had to do this.
We just all lost trust in each other.
We lost trust in each other." And then
You're like, that was it?
no. Then Arnold comes with the bombshell.
Yeah.
I'm the one who stole the $10 million.
The big reveal.
The big reveal.
I stole the 10 million.
She's like, "What? You stole the money?" The detective is like, "What?"
No, she didn't hear it.
No, she heard it. She heard it. She's like, because she was like almost turning the gun on him, like, "What? What's going on here?" And he goes, "Yeah." And then he ends up shooting Lizzie. And then she goes, "Why'd you have to do that?"
Yeah, she
Yeah,
says that.
yeah.
I don't think she heard him.
You don't think she did?
We'll go lead into the next scene. For some reason, I don't think she heard him because she was behind him. And so he gets in close to Lizzie and says, well, I did it. And then he plugs her. And then Olivia's like, why'd you do that? And then all the other cops show up.
Yeah. And then Arnold somehow slips out.
Yeah, which
Because
makes
then
no
Olivia's
sense.
like, "Where did he go?"
Like, what
Where
is
did
the
he
guy,
go?
a ninja?
Yeah.
He's got ninja skills? They
Yeah.
didn't reveal that. I guess if they had shown it ahead of time. Somehow, on a busy street, all the cops show up, and literally, he's standing next to the car. Olivia turns around to go talk to her cop buddies.
And
they're all
he is
showing-
gone
and
like
he's gone.
Spider-Man.
I mean,
Just-
was there like one of those grates in the street that he just disappeared down of? I
No,
mean, it made
he's
no
just-
sense whatsoever.
he's
He
gone.
could just disappear.
So now we get to the ending scene, and this is where I guess the big payoff is.
Right.
This is why we discover why Arnold Schwarzenegger wanted the $10 million. Mm-hmm. You see, he's down across the border. They show he's in some city in Mexico. I don't think they named what city that was. fictitious city in Mexico.
Was he in Oaxaca?
Could have been in Oaxaca. Could have been somewhere. I don't know. But he's in some federale's office, and he's stacking money.
Right. And he's stacking the money
and
up.
He's
And
got
everything.
he's
And
got
at
the
first I'm like,
pictures. He's got the
what?
pictures of the cartel members that he got from the detective.
Olivia Cole.
Yep.
Yeah, Olivia.
And he's got the pictures of them of that tortured his wife, and he's like, "Where are they?" And he just
And the
keeps
guy's
stacking
like,
money.
no, I don't know what you mean. And he's like, I'm going to put another stack on here.
I'm
and it's
stacking
like,
money.
I mean, I don't know how much is in one of those stacks.
Yeah.
And we don't know what the denomination was, but I mean, literally, the stack is like this high of money
Yeah.
on this guy's desk. And
Yeah.
they're like, okay, what? You're giving him the entire $10 million?
So finally, the federale, he's really nervous, but he like
Sees
pulls-
another piece on there, another stack.
One more stack, man.
One more stack, man.
Turn the
I
tide.
can't give you up.
And he opens up his
drawer, which is conveniently where all the info is just sitting there.
He's got the info on these guys just sitting right there on top of the drawer, and he hands it
right on
over
the
to
top
Arnold.
too. It's like, what do you mean?
Yeah.
It was that easy? You just reach in, it's right there. You've been
You know
keeping
what?
this
Before you
convenient-
came in with that money, I was just reviewing this folder, and
took it off my desk and slipped it
and
under.
now I'm giving it to you so you can hunt these guys down. So then we're in a nice Mexican cantina. Figrin Dane was
Drinking
not there.
some mezcal in the
Figrin Dane
cantina.
was not in this cantina.
No, he wasn't in this one.
But they've got the
that's-
music going, the Latin
The ladies.
music, the ladies,
The
the
rough-
bodyguards,
Right.
and there's Arnold with a cowboy hat in the corner.
And a white cowboy hat.
And a
'cause
white
he's
cowboy.
the good guy, remember?
Yes, and he's scoping out everybody. There, by the way, there was a guy with a cool Mexican shirt with skulls on it in this movie. Did you see that? I think it's the bad guy. I said, that shirt looks
But did
familiar.
you notice the vest that Grinder was wearing at the strip club? When he turned around, it had skull on the back of like a Indian head
I
skull.
think they're Cult Lords fans.
All right, Cult Lords fans!
Yeah. So, brother, drinking. So Arnold Schwarzenegger sees the guy, the main guy that tortured his wife.
The cartel hitman.
He gets up and he goes to the bathroom. And somehow Arnold Schwarzenegger is able to walk by all these bodyguards undetected.
Because he
into
had
the
a
bathroom.
simple, I'm just a simple farmer.
I'm just a simple
Never
farmer.
mind
in
that
my
I'm
hat.
like 6'2", packed like the Hulk.
Yeah.
In my like,
And
as
you
soon as
guys
you wear a
don't
white
know
hat,
me, and I'm
I
gonna
don't
go-
look like a white guy,
And I'm going to go into the bathroom where your boss is that you're trying to protect.
Was
his
he
life.
in there, or did
Yeah.
Arnold go in there first?
No. The boss went in there with
So
the woman. And like, remember he went in and like the woman goes running
that's
out.
right. Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And he's like, I don't think he did any clever quips. He just, like, he
stuck his head in the urinal.
Yeah,
and then
and a bunch of ice. And then the guy goes,
in these Mexican cantinas, they go high end and they put ice in all the urinals, but it was more like a trough.
yeah, and then he puts his head in there, and the guy said something like he's about to die, and he's like, yeah, your wife screamed, like, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
And then,
Make it easier for you to kill me, I'll say that.
And then Arnold shoots him and says, yeah, that's a cooler. I don't know. He didn't say anything like that.
Enjoy that toilet cake, urinal cake.
Yeah.
Bam.
He should have said something
He
like
should
that.
have, but then they would have went jokey, and they didn't want to be jokey.
Yeah, because it's serious.
Right.
We got body parts everywhere. It's serious.
Yeah.
So he walks out, and he has one of the biggest gun battles. You know what I mean?
Finally the bodyguards wake up.
Yeah, they wake up.
I didn't even know the guy was dead in there.
Yeah, because they heard the gunshots.
But wasn't there a bunch of music in the bar?
But they heard it. They were all waiting for him.
They were doing poetic readings at that bar, so everyone was very quiet.
So they have a poor man's desperado scene in the bar. Arnold jumps behind the bar. Everybody's shooting at him, shooting up glasses. Even the ladies. I know.
The ladies are so,
they're like
everyone's
something
packing in Mexico.
Yeah, they're packing,
they're all great shots.
Yeah.
I mean, it was like a scene out of like The Warriors when the Lizzies went after her,
Yeah, so he cleans house. He shoots everybody. But after he shoots everybody, he realizes he's been hit.
He's like, looks up. He's like, oh, man.
He's been hit. And he goes over and he sits down.
He has one last
drink of tequila.
Drink of mezcal.
Because his days are over. And I'm saying, thank God this movie's over. I've seen this formula before. And he has his drink.
He has his final drink. And he's like, I'm just going to wait for death to come over me. Because after I just blew everybody else in the bar up, I'm going to wait for somebody to come in and then end me. Even though I just literally could have just stood up and took all the bullets.
Yeah.
I mean, it made no sense.
And then we have end of movie. End of credits. And that's it. That's the dramatic ending of how Arnold... And you know what? First of all, Dane, what would you have done differently in this movie to maybe punch this story up?
What couldn't you do to make this a better story? I mean, the whole... Well, actually, I love the idea that this turned into a vampire movie, to tell you the truth. I mean, that would have made more sense with all the blood and guts and the thing. I mean, when they were walking on the train and you see that, and you're like, what the heck? I mean, it didn't make any sense.
Let's suspend the supernatural intuitions that we have.
All right, I know. We always love going into that territory.
So,
but, they introduce Olivia Colman. He obviously ends up having like a serious relationship with her. Yeah, okay. You're like, well, is he using her? But then why wasn't there a payoff? I mean, why wasn't there like, hey, you know what? I'm not getting anywhere with the rest of the group, even though I know it's them. The FBI, the DA, maybe I can convince her. It would have been a more interesting movie if somehow she got on his side, and then the two of them like plotted it out and went down there on their own.
So what I thought was, this team is supposed to be. They kept talking about how we're family. We're family.
Yes,
we're family.
that's
right?
true. Yes.
So what if Arnold pulled all his people together and say, "Hey, look,
I know who it is.
I know who it is. I took the money, and here's why I took the money. I'm going down to take out these cartel lords." And then they would say, "Well, that sucks that you took our money, but you know what? We're family.
But you have it now.
But you're our family, and we're in. We're going with you, to help you take out these bad guys."
Yeah, I mean, just
you know what I mean?
Give us like $2 million, and then we forgot Snow.
Yeah,
Snow, the guy that got killed in the first fight. Snow. They do a drink for Snow.
So, but why don't you have these guys go down and then they all go out like as heroes?
I'm trying to remember in the storyline. I mean, because I like where you're going with this, but in the storyline, it's like, he had the money, so he had the money the whole time. And they're all pissed off, and they all think it's everybody else. So in his mind, he was like, well, even though we're family, I'm just going to let them all kill each other off.
One by one, I'm going to let these guys die. You know, because, they think it's other people, but obviously other cartels were involved because they found the guy in the cabin. And
actually on that note, you're right. So all of a sudden there's the reveal where Grinder gets shot in the diner from Lizzie as a sniper. So then at that point in the movie, because it's been a little bit of time, you're like, oh, it's Grinder and Sugar. They've been killing off all the other members.
Yeah.
But
Lizzie and Sugar.
Lizzie and Sugar.
Yeah.
But are they the ones that stuck him to the ceiling?
Are
they the ones that, I think
that's
the weird
cartel.
thing. It's almost like there's two different killing organizations going on, which completely confuses everything, because then it's like, well, why would they even go and kill the other ones? Because they're all like, well, I'm going to shoot him. Well, that means for sure you're not going to get the money.
Yeah.
So it's like,
obviously they knew they didn't have the money.
Right.
So,
they didn't have the money, and Grinder didn't have the money. I mean, because he got shot in the head. And then the dumb thing about it is, it would have made more sense if they had shot at Olivia Colman and Arnold Schwarzenegger. Grinder.
David Ayer.
Or
you wrote Training Day, which was one of the baddest ass movies ever. You wrote U-571. You wrote all these other movies, and this is your work. This is not.
So the weird thing about this movie is it's actually a very light adaptation of an Agatha Christie novel called, originally was called 10 Little, and I'm not going to say that word.
10 Little Indians? I know what
there was an earlier version called something else.
Yeah, it was. I forgot about that.
Yeah. So it was called...
I was like, you don't want to say Indians?
It was the other word that we're not going to say out loud.
Yeah.
And then it was 10 Little Indians, and then it was called, I forget what the name of it was, and then there was None.
Yeah.
And it's the top most sold mystery of all time.
I love Agatha
And it's
Christie.
also considered one of the if not the number one, the most sold book of all time in the world. Like 100 million copies of this book. So this movie was
I think the Bible's number one, but...
Well, that might be what they're talking about.
But you know what?
Bible's usually given out, by the way, not usually purchased. So that might have been the difference there. But
okay,
big difference.
All right.
But yeah, so this is an adaptation loosely of an Agatha Christie novel.
Well, to me, it was kind of a mashup of some other movies I've seen. So you have you always have the good heist kind of movies, cartel and revenge movies. These three movies all kind of reminded me of this movie. So have you seen Den of Thieves with Gerard Butler?
No.
Great movie. Go see Den of Thieves. Have you seen Sicario with Josh Brolin, Benicio del Toro, and Emily Blunt?
No.
Oh, Sicario. Sicario is one of the best freaking movies around. It's a cartel movie with revenge where they go across the border to take out a cartel member.
So he pulled elements of other things.
He pulled elements. And then have you seen Man on Fire with Denzel Washington?
No. I know
my
of it,
gosh.
but I haven't seen it.
Dane, we've got to sit down and watch some movies with you. Dane, Man on Fire. Yeah. Man on Fire with Denzel Washington. One of the greatest Denzel Washington movies ever. Denzel Washington is south of the border. He is watching a little girl.
I did see this movie.
He's watching a little girl for some rich people.
I did see it.
And then he's stolen, or she's kidnapped by cartel members.
Right, and then goes after her.
And then guess how that movie ends? He goes in, kills all the bad guys, but he's been shot too, and he kind of fades off at the end as the end credit. Just like John Wharton in
right. He's like, I'm just gonna sit here waiting, for end to come.
Yeah. So okay. So Dane, we've talked about this movie.
Finally achieved his goal.
We've reviewed it. I think it's time for the Cult Lord ratings. So if
Cult
you want
Lord ratings. So we are coming off the review, faithful subscribers, and this is getting ready for the grade.
Yeah.
The Cult Lord grade.
So if you skip the review, you're coming back now, so you can see our grades without getting any of the spoilers.
Come on back.
Come on back. All right. So we're back, right? Hopefully. So Dane, today before I have us reveal our grades, I wanted to share with you the Rotten Tomato scores.
Yes.
Aren't you waiting with bated breath of how this was?
Oh yes, I always am interested because we've had it, even though we've only done 2.
Yeah. All right.
We've had a good record here.
So let's just see. Was there a fresh sticker on this one?
Oh, strangely lacking. I don't understand.
No, there's not a fresh sticker on this. So the critics on Rotten Tomatoes rated this a 22%. That's a rotten score.
That is definitely. I mean, that tomato's converted into another life form altogether.
Oh, Rotten
The
Tomato.
critics did that, okay.
Okay, so now the audience score for this movie was a little bit better. 36%.
Oh, okay. And again, we haven't talked about this.
Yeah.
We haven't looked at the score. He's reading it for the first time right off of Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah.
So
I'm interested to see what your Cult Lord rating is going to be on this. We don't know what it's going to be. So, on the count of 3.
Oh, hold on, let me make sure. Okay, yeah.
We're going to do our reveal. Okay. And by the way, before we do this reveal, as you can see, we're not really good artists. If we have any viewers out there that can get us some professionally made rating cards.
We need 1 through 10 in all the degrees.
And all the degrees. So that's about 100, right?
What is that? Yeah, it's 100.
We need 100 for each. We need the Dane scores, and then
that's 200. Yeah, we need 200 cards.
We need 200 cards made. So
well, we'll keep doing this if everyone likes the way this is happening.
Okay. So on the count of 3, our reveal. 1, 2, 3.
3.
Oh!
5.2.
5.2. Interesting. You are right there with the audience, my friend.
God.
I think in all 3 of our reviews so far, you've been right there with the audience.
I don't know. I mean, literally, we're not looking up. I'm not looking at anything. I mean, it's just.
You're probably wondering, how the hell did I score above a 5?
I mean, you're almost going into. Well, no, you were also pretty high with the Green Knight, too.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
But
and higher than you. I don't think you've rated anything higher than me. Maybe
no,
because
it hasn't happened.
Maybe because that even like pizza, when pizza's bad, it's still good because it's pizza. It's very rarely that even a bad movie do I go, oh, that's just so freaking horrible, right? But yeah, this wasn't a good movie.
You stayed, you watched.
I
right?
know.
I mean, that's really more the defining. If you were there the whole time.
Yeah, I mean, could this movie have been better without spoilers? Sure, this could have been better.
I agree.
But will this revise your top 8 Arnold movies?
No.
It won't put a scratch.
But it has opened up a whole nother character study for Arnold movies.
Yes. I think I can still name another 8 before I got to this one. But
definitely be in the lower echelons of the 8s.
Yeah. But now that we've trashed this movie, let's tell them how they can win a copy of it.
I know. So, if you comment up until, what's the date?
It would be Friday, November 12th.
So, put comments down below. Again, we want your subscriptions. We want your likes. We're on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, but definitely YouTube. Subscribe, please. If you can comment about the movie and how much you either hate or love our commentary by, what was it again? November
12th.
12th.
Any comment. So tell us your top 8 Arnold movies. Tell us if you like us. Tell us that you're hooking us up with a printing deal on our cards. Tell us that you're also fans of Figrin, Dane, and the Modal Nodes.
I know.
Maybe we'll see you at Burning Wookiee Fest.
Burning Wookiee Fest.
So, yeah.
I mean, do that.
Tell us.
Trademark.
Tell us, anything in the comments, and we will put you into a raffle wheel, and one of you will get this great copy of 2014's Sabotage! All right. And that wraps up another episode, Dane.
Another episode.
Yeah.
Numero 3.
Once again, we'd like to thank our cult followers. We'd like to have a drink. And I'd like to say, hasta la vista, baby.